Is there people out in the hallway?
Sounds like it.
Yeah, I'll wait for you. How's that sound?
Yep.
I won't start the
Stay
meeting
there.
without you.
Yeah, don't do
At
anything.
ease.
Hold it. Hold it. Don't breathe. So is nobody showing up? Well, we might get through this quickly. How you doing, Phil? He just marched in, huddled over there.
Good.
You chased them off. Or did I throw it out?
I said, how are you folks doing?
Oh,
But
I
you guys
didn't-
were deep in
I didn't hear you.
consultation.
Well, then my
We were
apologies,
bad.
my apologies.
That's okay.
Oh.
Maybe I was
All right.
just too quiet.
Did her homework and I was trying to copy it.
Ready?
Yep.
All right, good evening. It's Monday, January 9th of 2023. This is the Stoughton Plan Commission meeting. We do have a quorum, so the first order of business would be to approve the minutes from the last meeting. I would entertain a motion to do so.
I'll
Move to
move.
approve.
That was Tom. I'll second.
Motion by Majewski, a second by Duran. Any questions about the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is council representative report. Alderperson Caravello, anything to report out?
Yes, it looks like at the December 23rd council meeting, resolutions 213 through 217 were all passed.
All right. Any questions on that? Next would be the staff report. Michael, anything you want to highlight?
I don't have it in front of me, but no, I don't.
It's on the screen.
Oh, there it is. It's on my screen too. Nothing major. Yeah, if you have any questions. Nope. Good.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be another busy spring, so
Yeah.
that's
Good.
encouraging. Next item is a certified survey map to combine parcels at Cummins Emission Solution 1801 and 1715 US Highway 51 and 138 for a future warehouse addition. So let's see,
Todd Kane's on.
Todd's on Zoom.
Yep.
Okay. Do you want to walk us through this, Todd?
Sure. Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Okay. So what we're planning to do is, and I'll be submitting this later this month for the warehouse edition, but what we're planning to do is add I think it's a 5,700 square foot building addition to the east building, which is actually address 1715. We call it the PDC, Product Development Center. The west side of that, we want to add an addition, right? So you can see the old lot line there. And the problem is that addition will come right to that existing lot line, so that's a setback issue, right? So I've been working with Mike, Stacy, and working through this, right? He informed me that I would need to create one parcel to do that addition, obviously, to meet the setback requirements. So anyway, that's where we're at. The CSM draft that all you folks has is the new CSM for the one parcel, which, would include 1801 and 1715, so.
Okay. Any questions from the commissioners? So you said is this storage? Is that what the idea is here then?
Yeah, right now we have shipping and receiving and storage in that east building, the 1715 location. And we just need to expand, and the only way to do that is to basically push that shipping and storage out of the facility into that new addition to the west.
Okay,
It's behind the Walmart.
Yeah, the Walgreens.
It's the long, old building,
Yeah, the Walgreens.
all right,
Walgreens.
yeah,
behind Walgreens.
right. Any questions from commissioners? Otherwise, I'll get back to the resolution here if I can find it.
Should be up at the top.
It is. It's just, I don't know where my slide went from my computer, so it'll just take me a second to get back up to it. Here it is. All right, so if there's no questions, we would entertain a motion for the resolution.
I did have one question, Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
No worries.
Go ahead.
With an addition going on to that building, is there anything, will anything else be done to the exterior of the building, or how will the addition get blended in with the other part of the building?
So it'll look basically exactly the same as the other building. And that'll submit it in elevations in the, I think I have to submit that by the 27th of January. So,
Okay, I just wasn't sure how that was going to stitch together. And this new, or even the addition, there won't be any connection to your main building there at all?
no, not at this time, no.
Okay, thanks.
So then
Welcome.
procedurally, Michael, would it be like a site plan or something that we'd approve
Yeah, that'll be next month.
next month?
Come with a site plan.
Okay. So then tonight, we're just looking for the CSM, which is kind of the next step, I guess. So I would entertain a motion for that.
I'll make the motion to approve that.
Recommendation to council.
Okay? All right. Is there a second?
Yep.
I can second.
All right, second by Bradford. One last time for discussion. Any last minute thoughts? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 And any opposed? None opposed, that motion carries. Next item is the conditional use for indoor commercial entertainment use, restaurant at Black Cat Cafe at 183 West Main. This one we do have a need for a public hearing because it's a conditional use permit. Before we close the meeting and do the public hearing, is there anything we need to cover here, Michael?
It's really just changing the retail use to indoor commercial entertainment or restaurant type use. And Alexandra, I see, is online. If she wanted to chime in, she could. And,
Okay.
but it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, there is a description in the packet here, but certainly, Alexandra, if you want to kind of walk us through your plan, you're more than welcome to do that.
Yeah, sure. So basically what has to be done is putting in a wall to separate customer space from the kitchen and prep area, and setting up, the proper wash sinks for washing produce, dishes, employees being able to wash their hands, and also installing a handicap accessible restroom for customers.
Okay. So it looks like
Yeah.
you have a drawing here that's submitted, which is,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. That does include, where everything is gonna go.
All right, and you're currently open with your other business, right? Or is it all under one name?
It's all under the name Black Cat Cafe and Gallery, but right now only the gallery part is running.
Okay. And I have a question from Commissioner Bradford.
So I want to make sure I understand that tonight is just about approving the conditional use so that they can go forward with the improvements? Or,
So they can use it as
Use it as a restaurant.
use.
And then they'll come back to us with the,
They'll just need building permits to
get
do the
building
interior
permits.
type work.
Okay, just wanted to clarify.
Been working with the building inspector and
Okay.
fire marshal. on
I think
that.
it's a great plan.
Typically, on a lot of these buildings, if we change use, they need to do a conditional use permit, or sometimes even if it's the same use, but the building's been vacant like a year, I think it is, then it expires, so they have to come in and resubmit. That sound about right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. Any other questions from anyone out in, any of the Zoom people?
I was just curious as to what sort of extent the menu of the cafe part was going to have.
Oh, it's really good. It's vegan.
Yeah, so the cafe is going to have the usual coffee-based drinks, mochas, cappuccinos, espresso-based products, and we'll also be serving fresh-made juices, smoothies, and then we'll have soups, sandwiches, things like that, and it's all going to be more health-based, cater to people who are vegan or have health allergies that make it difficult for them to go out and enjoy a meal out with friends and family.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering, I know a number of people with either celiac or gluten issues and that, and they were pretty excited about this idea, so.
Yeah, the whole place is going to be designated gluten-free and dairy-free, and then we'll cater to all sorts of other allergies and have notices on what everything contains.
Fantastic.
All right, any other questions for Ally while she's here? Otherwise, we do have a need to go into public hearing, so we'll gavel out and then gavel back in for the public hearing, and I don't believe anybody was signed up for it. Is there anybody that would wish to speak on this topic? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and reopen for our regular business. And we do have this resolution here in the packet that we're looking for a...
I have one question,
Okay.
and that just is regarding the notice in here. I'm just wondering if there was any communication from any of the neighbors that were sent notices about this.
Never heard from anybody.
Okay.
So then we'd be looking for a recommendation to the council on this resolution.
I move that we move this forward to council.
Is there a second?
I'll
Second.
Second by Alder Majewski. Any last minute questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
I,
Any opposed? None opposed. So this will be at the city council 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yep.
Thanks for being here. Next item is number 7, conditional use for an in-vehicle sales and service use including outdoor display incidental to indoor sales for a proposed quick trip at 1700 East Main Street. And you can see on the agenda here, we do have a public hearing which we'll have to open. We're not looking for action tonight, and more than likely we'll want to basically recess or postpone the public hearing once we close it for the next meeting. And it looks like Tom Matson's here. Tom, did you want to give an update, or do you want us to, or how would you like to handle this?
Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. No, if you want to, I mean, we've just postponed by a month. There were a couple things that came up with changes to the certified survey map at the 11th hour, and the deadline was getting close, so we opted to postpone until next month. So at that point in time, the Quick Trip people will be, on board with the meeting, and I'm just basically here in case there were questions that needed to be answered.
Okay. Yeah, I
With
noticed
regards-
at one point Jeff from Quick Trip had signed up, but I don't see him here tonight. But basically, for those that aren't familiar, I can give a quick preview of what the proposal is. It's down on the corner of N and 51. There's 2 lots there. There's an easement that acts as a driveway going in from County N that currently really only serves the 2 vacant lots, and then ultimately serves the building where Fastenal and Kicks Unlimited, and I think there's 1 or 2 other businesses in that warehouse building there. And the proposal is basically to put the gas pumps on the 1 lot, and then put the Quick Trip store and the car wash on the other lot, and then there would be some work done on the entrance or the easement. I think there was a suggestion that there would be a right-in, right-out, and then also some work on the parking lot, which would create another road that would kind of run parallel with and circle around and run a little parallel to 51 to get into the Fastenal building part of the lot, and then there could be an exit going out on Cedar Brook. So there's kind of a traffic flow in your packet here. It's kind of...
Yeah, there'd be actually three areas in and out of that, which would be an improvement to actually even for the Fastenal building, because if you look at the aerial where they're currently coming through that access point and heading to the south and then heading east, it's very tight around that building. We've spoken with all 3 of the tenants and have a letter from Fastenal indicating their support for this project.
So that's kind of a quick update. They were here, I don't know, a couple of years ago now. Some of the neighbors spoke at the public hearing, but I don't see any of them here tonight. So it's possible that they'll come back at the next meeting. So at this point, unless there's any questions, I'll go ahead and close the meeting, open the public hearing, and see what happens. And then I guess do we need a formal motion at that point, you think, to postpone the public hearing for the next meeting?
I don't know, do you need a motion to postpone, or?
I don't know. Probably should just have one just in case. So we'll close the regular meeting and we'll open the public hearing. Anybody wish to speak at the public hearing? Hearing none. So I'd look for a motion to postpone a public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
All right, motion by Bradford. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Caravello. Any questions on that? So we'll just notice it the same for the next meeting, and then we'll pick up where we left off, and I imagine there'll be some folks here from Quick Trip to give us a little bit more detail about what they're looking at doing.
Postponed until February 13th, just to be specific.
Okay, that's fine. All in favor, say aye.
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 And any opposed? None opposed, that motion carries. We'll close the public hearing, by the way, and then open for the regular business. We're not going to take any action on the conditional use tonight, so we'll go on to the next item. And the next item is, might look a little familiar to you. And this is one we talked about a couple meetings ago. And this is the electronic message board signage for 384 East Main Street. And there was a request to put it back on the agenda tonight. The applicant is here. So I think the applicant's looking for a little bit of feedback about the decision and what, if anything, could be done to reconsider that. Is that fair to say? Anybody have any additional questions or comments about this one, or would you like to hear from the applicant? Go ahead, Jordan.
Oh, you're too kind. Commissioners, good evening. Michael, good evening. Mayor Swadley, good evening. So, yeah, I wanted to bring this up, ask this to be put back on the agenda. I know we brought this up in November. We had cited everything, filled out all the paperwork, had crossed all the Ts, dotted all the Is, and it just got denied with no explanation, no recommendations for anything to be fixed, adjusted, what we could do to try and make this sign work, while yet all the other applicants or people that had come before the Plan Commission got at least some kind of recommendation for how to move forward on things. So I had attached, sent a letter with a couple questions, because the spirit of Stoughton just wasn't a quantitative reason, in my opinion. So I know that you guys have that certain ability to just wave things off, but also that does just, it doesn't set things up for a good future there. So I'm looking for what quantitatively needs to be adjusted or fixed or addressed with that, because as you guys saw in the signs with the ordinances, it does fit all the ordinances laid out for the downtown overlay district. And so that's what I'm just trying to find out here today.
So basically, I know I had at least one or two conversations with Jordan to clarify that when an applicant fills out the application and it's accepted by the planning department, really what that means is they've checked all the boxes in order to have it considered. So we wanted to at least clarify that part. That doesn't mean that the staff endorses it, or obviously it's not necessarily approved until it comes to this body here. So we had that conversation initially when he approached me about reconsidering. And then it looks like, Michael, I'll let you maybe walk through kind of the statutorily, or in our ordinances here, I should say, about what we have in there and what kind of latitude that the commissioners could have if they so choose to move forward.
Yeah, I tried to outline, if you go a little farther down, I tried to highlight some things right there in red. That the code does allow some flexibility for the Plan Commission to make a decision, especially on signs and colors and types of materials and things like that. So there is some latitude there, and my review letter usually reflects that the Plan Commission has the authority to make some decisions if it's compatible. Like an example of the sign, I think it's expressed in there that in the code that it has to be compatible with immediate area, so, and it's outlined in red. And I tried to give some definitions in there to help make that decision. So I don't know if you have further questions, but it's really a decision, for the Plan Commission.
So I think my take is that this body, under Michael's point and Jordan's question number 3, is what does it take to be in character with the electronic message board that meets all the city ordinances. And I think that the authority, my take was, is they didn't think it was compatible or harmonious with the existing buildings, is I think what I heard that night, unless somebody else heard or thought any differently. And I guess at this point I would kind of just ask you how you feel about that. I really don't want to get into a two-way conversation here with Jordan, but I'd like the commissioners to at least take his consideration under, advisement here. Anybody have anything?
I would just say, from what I can tell, this hasn't changed. It's the same sign. So my feelings are still the same. I think it is sort of incompatible with the downtown district look. I think most of what I see downtown are signs that are inside windows that are not as obtrusive, if you will. So yeah, my general take on the sign has not changed.
I tend to agree. It really does not meet the flavor of the rest of the downtown. It is incompatible. I think it would definitely not be consistent with what is expected in the downtown area.
Okay. Anybody else, Duran or Phil or?
Yeah, I would agree with those comments. I mean, I don't think there's nothing similar to this in the downtown area that's, a similar type of sign or placed in a similar location on a facade, or anything even remotely close that I'm aware of or that I've noticed. So it seems, yes, out of character.
Anything from you, Joanne, or?
I think that, I heard Jordan ask for some feedback. And I would say, just looking at other businesses in town and, how that whole area looks, to have an electronic sign inside, facing out the window, would certainly be in line with what other businesses are doing downtown. Or having a stationary, non-electronic sign with your logo and name of your business, in your picture. In other words, replace the picture you have of your electronic sign and put that with this stationary type logo sign, would be the feedback.
Yeah, I do appreciate those comments. I mean, someone's got to be the first. No one else is a sign like that down there. The technology has changed a lot over the years to be able to have this kind of sign. I brought a representative from Grant Signs, the company that's going to make those signs. To have this kind of sign is a pretty new process. So to my understanding, I'd be the first to have it, but I definitely wouldn't be the last, that there are other businesses that want to bring this kind of sign there. If this is something then that I need to get a petition from other business owners of downtown to say, I would have this kind of sign if it was available to me, to change that kind of mind towards that. But one of my favorite pictures is hanging in Mayor Swadley's office. And you look at downtown, and it's got this shot of all the downtown buildings and all the signs on there. And none of those signs are up there anymore because they were all electronic, and they all had their signs, and they were all sticking out over the city. I'm sure ordinances had changed over time that you guys didn't like signs sticking out over the sidewalks, but things change over time. And that's where I'm looking at. Here's a sign, meets all the ordinances, has met all the requirements, everything, especially with the overlay district for downtown, to still meet that. And yes, I'm going to be the first one to put one of these message centers up there, but to hear that it doesn't meet the characteristic of downtown, someone's got to be the first, especially if it meets everything you guys have asked for. That's where I'm trying to get something more than just, it doesn't fit what everyone else has because no one else has it. This is new technology, but it still meets everything you guys have written up in there in your ordinances. Is that?
Well, yeah, like I said, I don't really want to get into a two-way conversation.
Yeah.
I think that, if other downtown businesses, want to submit an electronic sign, they can. It's likely they'll get the same outcome from the group. I guess is what I would think, because it really comes down to whether or not it's harmonious and with the character and the spirit of the historic nature of our downtown.
Of course.
I think that's what I'm hearing. The only one we didn't hear from was Alderperson Schumacher. Did you have anything?
Yeah, I'll jump in on this. I mean, this building in general, I've always kind of struggled with a little bit because it's sort of a mashup of a couple different architectural styles. So it's really hard to match anything into this building. So throwing a third thing in there is making it even and more difficult. I mean, Jordan, don't get me wrong, I want your business to be successful and all that, but I think we can come up with some better ideas on the sign. I think if you want a bit of feedback, one simple thing would be just to alter the shape of the sign itself. I mean, to stick a rectangle within a triangle is a little bit jarring, I think. If you could have something that would be a little bit more trapezoidal, I think you might be able to get away with that. It would be a little bit more pleasing to the eye. As it looks, it's difficult to look at.
I appreciate the feedback. Thank you.
All right. Anything else? Go ahead,
If I can,
Alderperson Carvalho.
and there is, and I think you said, Jordan, that there was something about looking at historical pictures of Main Street and signs older signs that were sticking out, and the building next door, which is the insurance building, if you wanted to have a sign that protruded out from the facade, that's still feasible.
Sure, but there's a
Although there's a
giant,
tree there that
Yeah.
is gonna be potentially, present some difficulty, with the placement of where that tree is, but still, I don't know if there's, how much wiggle there is as far as, you know, that would be potentially just another thing to overcome, depending on what the scoop is with that tree, but
And certainly I can understand the challenge of trying to put one in the window here because of the way the window is designed.
well, and that's, there are definitely signs that can be put in the window. I just don't feel that they're gonna be as popular downtown as this nice electronic center, because this is a nice sign, very clear, very clean. The shape doesn't sound like it's the best or the best idea, but, the types of signs I can legally put in that window, I don't think are gonna be pleasing to as many people downtown. So if we're talking about sensitivity of the eyes, that's where it's just, this is a professional electronic message center that can be put there. And that's what I'm trying to go with, is this fits everything again that the ordinances have on there, crosses all the Ts, dots all the Is, and that is just, really nice looking. Putting stuff in the window and with all those grids on there, I can put something up there, it's just not gonna be as nice as that sign is.
so, no interest in putting something up there in that space that's not an electronic sign?
Well, I want something electronic. It is a modern, it is 2023 now, Phil. I love it very much, but electronic is the way to go. Just a sign sitting there is not the way to get eyes to look at that. I need some eyes to pay attention to the north side of Main Street, than everyone paying attention to that beautiful opera house that's across the street there. And electronic seems to be the way to go. And I got electronic for the window, it's just, that's really not gonna look anywhere as nice. And that I don't have to bring in front of you guys for, so that's why I thought this was a very nice way to honor the building, honor the downtown, and keep things going. But, there are many ways to skin a cat, as I like to say. But I'm allergic to cats, so I guess I can say that.
That's because you're the dog guy.
That's right, I'm the dog guy.
All right. Well, it sounds like, at least for now, this group isn't really, taking a position to move on your current request. I mean, if you want to run something else past us or maybe come up with some more options, is this group open to looking at something different going forward?
Okay.
I'm hearing crickets.
No, I'll tell my sign guy then that, I guess I'm not buying the sign. We'll go that other route, for sure. Maybe
Okay.
VFW would like that sign.
Yeah, well, I thought maybe, the other business could use it.
The signs on the other businesses are beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can never have enough.
You never have enough.
Yeah,
Awesome. I appreciate all of your times
Yeah.
tonight. Thank you very much.
appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay, future agenda items. Any of the commissioners have a future agenda item? Do we have any? You working on anything?
Stoughton Hospital Edition should be coming.
Okay,
We'll have the Cummins Building Edition. See, Magnolia Springs final plat and rezoning, that should be coming. And the Ridge Street vacation at IKI, we're expecting that to come back.
any ordinances you're working on?
No,
No? Taking a break?
well, there's some we'd like to, but,
Can you refresh my memory about that Ridge Street?
yeah, well, it's actually come to us a couple times, but, they're working on the process to get it done. Where, Ridge Street goes down the hill to Cooper's Causeway, well, from there on, that's actually platted as part of Ridge Street, and it keeps going through that property. So they want to try to vacate that and just have a survey and combine those lots.
Okay.
So they're working on it. So we'll expect to see that coming eventually.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, okay, Schumacher. Before we do, I almost forgot. We anticipate needing an additional Plan Commission meeting in March, on March 1st. So if you guys can mark your calendars for March 1st, and then probably when we get into the next meeting, we'll be able to give you an update of what that might be all about. But we wanted to give you a heads up, so if anybody has a conflict with that date, let us know. We want to make sure we have a quorum.
At the same time,
Yeah, it'd be the same
and
time.
that is a Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be a Wednesday, March 1st here at 6 o'clock.
For a comp plan amendment, right? Or the beginning of a comp plan
Yeah,
amendment?
yeah. You know, and the reason we need to have the meeting is we have a proposal and we have to do some proper noticing in the paper for the public hearing. And in order to keep the timeline and help keep the thing moving according to the plan, we need to have that special meeting in order to meet those public hearing windows, I guess is the way I'll put it. Okay? All right. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed. That motion carries. Have a good night.
You also.
Thank you.